So the following procedures naman shall be observed in the conduct of virtual preliminary investigation. So kanina, face-to-face yun. Ito naman, virtual. In recent memory, merong isang akusado sa Quezon City RTC nag-request ng virtual hearing. Pinayagan ng korte kasi may rules naman tayo, sabi ng Supreme Court, di ba? Yung video conferencing. Kasi ito ay hindi yan inquest, kundi yan ay arraignment. Okay? So for preliminary investigation to be conducted by the public prosecutors, pwede ang virtual. Okay? Ngayon, if the investigating prosecutor finds that the conduct of virtual preliminary investigation will be beneficial to the fair, speedy, and efficient administration of justice, based on the conditions that we have seen in Section 7, the investigating prosecutor may set the continuance or continuation of the proceedings through video conferencing. So, ibig sabihin, initially, nagkita yung mga parties during preliminary investigation, pero yung susunod na setting ng preliminary investigation, pwede naman mag-agree yung mga parties. Kasi masyadong malayo, mahirap mag-commute, o kaya may sasakyan, ang hirap po ng parking dito sa lugar nyo, baka pwede mag-virtual na lang tayo. Pinapayagan naman yan under Section 11. Now, before the initial regular face-to-face preliminary investigation hearing is terminated, the investigating prosecutor shall issue an order stating that the parties opted. So, kailangan magkasundo kayo na yung susunod nating setting ay through video conferencing. Okay? Such order shall likewise contain the following details. Number 1, paano ipapadala yung meeting link? So, therefore, may email address sila. Official email address and contact details ng prosecution office. Eh syempre, si prosecutor, may email din yan. Yung complainant, yung respondent, yung mga witnesses. Okay, kung may abogado, pati yung abogado, dapat may email. Eh kasi ngayon, di na natin pwedeng takasan ng technology. Di ba? Kaya yung mga hindi pa familiar sa technology, they are at a disadvantage. Kasi tulad ginagawa natin, di ba? Kung wala kang technology, hindi natin magagawa to eh. Okay? O, bukod pa dyan sa email address, date and time of the clarificatory hearing or the e-filing and e-service of pleadings if applicable. Kasi pwede namang i-email mo na lang yung mga pleadings mo. Okay? Now, the date and time of the submission of the hard copies. Yun ang problema. Kasi nag-submit ka ng electronic copy, under the rules, required ka pa rin na mag-submit ng hard copy. Okay? Yung printed copies. Pagka malambot ba yung papel, hindi na siya hard copy? Hard pa rin yun. Kasi hindi dapat hard copy, kundi printed copy. Kasi may mga papel na malambot, hindi ba? So, hindi na ba pwede yun? Oh, pwede naman. Basta printed. Okay? So, hindi ito lalagpas sa 3 calendar days prior to the video conferencing. Kasi clarificatory, titingnan nyo na doon yung mga dokumento eh. So, 3 calendar days before the video conferencing, submit na dapat. Now, kasama rin doon sa order yung date and time of the video conferencing. At saka yung access link or passcode. Kasi may passcode, di ba? Tulad doon sa Zoom. O pwede yung Zoom. O, kasi ang Supreme Court, ang ginagamit lamang sa virtual, sa video conferencing ay Microsoft Teams. But in these rules, pwede ang Zoom. Okay? Kaya lang, pagka yung host ay wala siyang account na nagbabayad siya, around 8,000 pesos yan every year, ay madidisconnect kayo within 40 minutes. Okay, dapat yung host ay meron siyang account. Kasi kung wala, mawawala tayo dyan. Okay? And all other matters na kailangan to define the parameters of the video conferencing. Okay? Now, the parties shall sign the order as proof of their conformity. Kasi face-to-face sila initially. The investigating prosecutor shall ensure that the schedule for the clarificatory hearing or the e-filing of the case complies with the period. Ano yung period? 10 days lang, di ba? 10 days tayo eh. Now, if the respondent fails to submit his or her counter affidavit during the initial hearing, kaya sabi niya, wala po akong abogado, ay walang gagawa ng aking counter affidavit. Ay pagbibigyan yan, pero hindi lalagpas ng 10 days. Okay? Now, the filing of counter affidavit in case the extension is allowed or when deemed necessary or reply affidavit, rejoinder affidavit, pwede namang gawin electronically. Pag electronic, syempre, email tayo. Now, prior to the said electronic filing, the submitting party shall have his or her counter affidavit. Of course, kahit na ipinail mo yan electronically, under oath pa rin yan. Diba? The same rules. So, prosecutor and a government official authorized to administer oath or in their absence or unavailability doon sa notary public. Okay? Now, yung PDF, portable document format ng mga sworn affidavit, ipapadala through email. Okay? Hindi po pwedeng yung Word document. Diba? Kasi pag Word document, paano yun? Hindi naman manonotaryo yun virtually. So, ipiprint mo pa rin yun. Yung ninotaryo, o kaya yung sinumpa ang salaysay, yun ang i-email natin. So, you have to convert that into PDF. Huwag JPEG, kasi yung JPEG, napakalaki ng kinakaing memory, baka mapuno yung email ni Piskal. Ano? Now, the PDF copy of the counter reply or rejoinder affidavit shall be separate from the PDF copies of each accompanying documents. So, hindi nyo pagsasamahin sa isang file. Gagawin nyo, separate file, may separate file name, at may description. Ano ito? Diba? Ito yung counter affidavit. Ito yung Annex A. Ito yung Annex B. So, magkakahiwalay na file. Pero lahat sila Adobe, no? Parang gutom na tayo. Ayan. And then, ito po ay dapat legible at complete. Documents that are e-filed and e-served. Puro na ano? Kaya marami nang naiwan. Okay? Beyond office hours. Hanggang alas 5 lang ang office hours ng prosecution office. Pinail niya 5:01 p.m. Treated na yan as filed the next day. Kaya walang lusot. Diba? Kasi kung ngayon yung last day, hanggang alas 5 mamaya, mag-file ka. Pag di mo na i-file yan hanggang 5 p.m., late ka na kasi next day na ang treatment niyan. The hard copy of the original affidavit and 2 duplicates shall be submitted to the prosecution office, either personally or by accredited courier. Kasi kahit dun sa Rule on Civil Procedure na inamyendahan noong 2019, may mga accredited courier na ang Supreme Court for purposes of filing the documents. Okay? Now, the party submitting the hard copy shall likewise file a verified declaration that the electronically filed affidavit and accompanying documents, if any, are complete and true. Diba? So, may under oath pa rin yun. Kasi pag verified, under oath yan, di ba? Na yan ay verified. So, under oath. Ito mga sinubmit ko, kompleto na po yan at yan ang mga totoong kopya. Para i-file sa prosecution office. Now, during the video conference hearing, hindi natapos na yung mga filing. Mag-video conference na tayo. The investigating prosecutor shall require the affiants to affirm their oaths in their affidavit. May natanggap ako ditong counter affidavit. Ikaw complainant. Do you certify or verify that this is your true affidavit? Di sabi niya, yes. Kasi pag hindi natin tatanggapin yan. Diba? May mga attachment to. Ikaw ba naglagay nito? Hindi ho, yung kapitbahay namin. Napatay tayo dyan. Now, the investigating prosecutor shall personally examine the affiants and may ask questions that can aid in the investigation and resolution of the case. Kinakasuhan mo sa salang pananakit, yung jowa mo. Kino-confirm mo yan. Paano kasi sinaktan? Kasi po, may kasama siyang iba. Masakit na kaagad yun. Naman. Di ba? So, all video conference hearings shall be recorded. Oops, hindi kayo ang magre-record. Ang magre-record si prosecutor. Okay? Now, failure to timely file the affidavits via email and to submit hard copies thereof with the required verified declaration. Ay waiver yan. Oh. Para ito si chairman, nag-waiver, no? Kasi may mga nag-aakusa na meron daw siya mga offshore account. O di may waiver siya. Sige, tingnan nyo lahat. Ganun naman kasimple yun, di ba? May accusation laban sa'yo. Di sige, bigay ka ng ebidensya. Okay? Now, electronic copies of the affidavits or the accompanying document na hindi naka-PDF o kaya naka-PDF pero hindi mabasa, o kaya may password, kaya encrypted, ay hindi talaga mababasa yan, o kaya corrupted, hindi siya kasama. Diba? So kaya, mag-submit ng mga documents na ito na legible. Otherwise, may problema tayo, baka ma-exclude pa yan, sayang. Kung ikaw yung complainant, that may lead to the dismissal kasi wala ka ebidensya. Okay? Now, ano naman yung inquest? Tapos na tayo sa preliminary investigation. Kayo ba ay pagod na? Gusto nyo nang magpahinga? Nakaupo lang naman tayong pare-pareho. Tuloy na natin. Para dire-diretso na. It is an informal and summary investigation conducted by a prosecutor or other officers allowed by law. Kailan ginagawa ang inquest? In cases involving persons arrested and detained without the benefit of a warrant of arrest issued by the court. Di ba? So arrested without warrant, natural to determine whether he committed a crime or not, para i-file yung information, mag-inquest tayo. Hindi na preliminary investigation ang tawag. Inquest proceeding na. And according to the Supreme Court, again, in that case of La Vista versus Judge Alameda, inquest is defined as an informal, inulit lang, di ba? Para malaman natin kung kakasuhan ba talaga itong taong ito. Baka mali kasi yung pag-aresto di ba? Now, pwede naman yung tinatawag na, may ina naman ito, i-inquest. Di ba, inuutusan mo lang siya, hoy, i-inquest mo yan. Hindi, electronic inquest to. As an alternative. Okay? Kasi nga, we have to take advantage of the technology. Although may mga disadvantages din yan, dumami ang mga hackers, at dumami ang nag-alaga ng pogo. Di ba? Dahil sa technology. Ayan. Ngayon, the inquest proceeding is initiated by the filing of the original referral letter. Di ba? Kasi nahuli ng police, for example. So may referral letter yung police doon sa prosecutor. So may 2 duplicate copies for official file and number of copies as there are respondents. So this time, hindi yung private complainant na nag-prepare, kundi yung law enforcement agency. Or, dahil pwede naman yung citizen's arrest, matapang masyado itong citizen na ito, ginagawa niya ang duty niya, siya ang aresto. Aba, magaling. Di ba? Bayani ito. Within the applicable period under Article 125 of the Revised Penal Code. Ano ba yung mga periods na ito? Of course, 12 to 36 hours depending on the crime charge or the alleged crime committed. Okay? 12 hours for crimes or offenses punishable by light penalties. 18 hours for crimes or offenses punishable by correctional penalties. And 36 hours maximum. Ibig sabihin, within 36 hours, pailan mo ng kaso. Otherwise, i-release mo yan. Kasi magkakaroon ka ng kaso ng arbitrary detention. Okay? Pag punishable by capital penalties, 36 hours maximum. Okay? Now, when the person under custody, of course, as a CICL, di syempre, gagalang natin. Yung nakalagay dun sa Republic Act 9344 as amended. Kasi sa Pilipinas, ang mga bata, maraming karapatan. Kaya marami rin nahihilig sa mga bata. Naku, delikado yan, lalo pagka minor de edad. Tandaan natin na yung qualified, tawag dito, statutory rape, I should say, ay hindi na 12 years old. 16 years old na under the new law. Kaya mag-ingat. Dali mag-ingat kaysa magsisi. Okay? The referral letter shall include all the required evidence. Kompleto na dapat. Now, the docket section shall then immediately forward the referral to the head of the prosecution office o yung kanyang designated prosecutor. Ano ang gagawin nito? who shall provisionally determine the validity of the warrantless arrest. Kasi kung valid yung warrantless arrest, mag-conduct siya ng inquest. Ngayon kung hindi, ay palayain mo yan. Diba? Kasi arrested without warrant eh. Okay? Should the warrantless arrest be valid, the referral shall be evaluated for completeness of the required evidence. Oh, ito ba ay kumpleto? Nandiyan ba yung mga testimonial or documentary evidence ninyo? Only referrals determined to be complete shall be docketed and assigned to an inquest prosecutor. Pag incomplete, hindi naman i-dismiss, kundi i-require kayo na mag-submit ng mga kulang na ebidensya within the period that we have mentioned provided under Article 125 of the Revised Penal Code. Pag na-complete nila, ay di idadaket ito at saka mag-a-assign ng inquest prosecutor. Eh, ang problema, lumagpas na yung 36 hours, hindi pa rin isasubmit. Walang choice ang korte kundi palayain yan. Actually, pa na-file sa korte ito, no? Palalayain nyo kung kayo ay mga pulis na naka-aresto niyan. Kasi you have to comply with that period unless, mamaya, meron yan. Kapag ka nag-request ng PI, i-waive niya yung right niya under Article 125. Okay? Now, should the law enforcement agency or private citizen concerned hindi nakapag-file, nauna pa pala yung discussion natin, ang gagawin dyan, the arrested person shall be ordered released and the records returned to the law enforcement agency. Or in case of a citizen's arrest, doon sa nearest law enforcement agency. Well, sa pulis yan. Kaya doon sa NBI kung sila nag-file. Now, should the prosecution office determine that the warrantless arrest was invalid, the person arrested shall be ordered released. Why? Makakasuhan kayo ng arbitrary detention. Di ba? Serious illegal detention as the case may be. Okay? Wala kinalaman yung picture kanina, pero dismiss naman yung kaso na. During the inquest proceeding, assuming kompleto yung mga dokumento, nag-conduct ng inquest, the prosecutor shall ensure that the respondent is represented by counsel. Remember, the right to counsel is a constitutional right. Okay? And that the said counsel has received the referral and the attachment. So yung mga dokumento para ma-evaluate ng abogado. Why? In criminal cases, the right of the accused to be assisted by counsel is immutable. Hindi pwedeng i-waive yan unless the waiver is in writing kung Miranda rights ang involved during investigation. Ano? Why? The right to counsel proceeds from the fundamental principle of due process. Kasi kailangan mo ng notice and hearing. Eh paano ka may inform kung wala kang abogado, hindi mo alam yung karapatan mo? Thus, if the judgment had become final and executory, pero na-violate yung karapatan niya to counsel, the accused must be afforded the opportunity to be heard by himself and by counsel. Therefore, i-recall yan kahit final and executory judgment. The right to counsel is absolute and may be invoked at all times. Okay? Yung dun sa preliminary investigation, kailangan abogado. Now, yung custodial investigation, kailangan ng abogado. Pero pwedeng i-waive doon, di ba? Under Section 12 of Article 3. But from the time the case is filed in court, information, from the time of arraignment until rendition of judgment, hindi pwedeng i-waive dyan yung right to counsel. Okay? More so in the case of an ongoing litigation. It is a right that must be exercised at every step of the way, with the lawyer faithfully keeping his client company. Wag naman sa loob ng kulungan. Ano? Okay? Unless the accused is represented by a lawyer, there is a great danger that any defense presented in his behalf will be inadequate. Kasi ano sabi ng Korte Suprema, in many cases, even lawyers sometimes get lost in the myriad of procedures. How much more a person who is not initiated in the language of the law? He might be convicted, not because he's guilty, but because he does not know how to establish his innocence. Imagine, lawyers na nga minsan nagkakamali. Eh, paano pa yung hindi nag-aral ng batas, hindi ba? Oh. The absence of a lawyer is denial of due process, which is a constitutional right. Therefore, the inquest prosecutor shall explain to the arrested person the nature of the proceedings, the charges against him. O kinakasuhan ka sa salang pagpatay. Diba? O, sino nagkaso sa'yo? Ito daw nangyari. O, yan. At kung gusto mo, mag-conduct tayo ng preliminary investigation. Ano po yung preliminary investigation? Basta, iimbestigahan ka. Ay, hindi ganun. Diba? Ay, papaliwanag ng inquest prosecutor, o di, magkakaroon ka ng abogado. Tapos yung abogado mo, tutulungan kang gumawa ng counter affidavit. O, maghihiring tayo. Pero, ay, pag pumayag siya, the inquest prosecutor shall administer the oath for all affiance. And whenever necessary, conduct a clarificatory questioning to clarify factual issues. O ikaw, Mr. Police, nag-file ka ng kaso laban sa taong ito. Totoo ba itong i-file mo? Oh. Ngayon, if the respondent opts to for the conduct of preliminary investigation, ito yung sinasabi ko na i-waive niya yung kanyang karapatan. Kasi ang preliminary investigation, hindi yan magagawa at makukumpleto within 36 hours. So tatagal yan. In the meantime, nag-PI tayo, ay nakakulong ka. Gusto mo ba yon? Okay? O, nag-waive siya, for example. Okay lang. Kasi pag sa bahay naman, mas maraming utos yung misis ko. O, dito na lang muna ako. Okay? Notwithstanding, nag-waiver siya. So, ibig sabihin, kahit na lumagpas ng 36 hours, okay lang. Hindi na makakasuhan itong mga nag-file sa kanya ng kaso. No? Hindi niya pwedeng balikan. Ito, pwede pa rin, dapat i-terminate yung dito, mag-a-apply siya ng bail. Okay? Within 15 days. Yung investigation, dapat must be terminated within 15 calendar days from inception. Okay? So, bawa, nag-waive siya ng right niya. No? Let's clarify. Di matatagalan. Okay? Ngayon, ang maximum niyan, 15 days. Di nakakulong siya. May option siya ngayon na mag-post ng bail. Kung bailable. What if non-bailable? Pwede pa rin mag-apply ng bail, kaya lang magkakandak ng bail hearing. Okay? Bakit? Ang mga requirements for bail, hindi ba? Una, the crime is punishable by reclusion perpetua. And the evidence of guilt must be strong. Kaya kailangan ng bail hearing. Now, in the case of People versus Revilla, acquitted na ito, no? The right to bail is cognate to the fundamental right to be presumed innocent. Diba? Bakit? Para saan ba kasi yung bail? Security ito, magbabayad ka para masiguro na tuwing may hearing, darating ka. Kahit pinalaya ka provisionally. Now, it is a reconciling mechanism. Bakit? May presumption of innocence. Kaya pinalaya kasi wala pa namang conviction. Paano kung di na ito dumating? Di mag-post ka ng bail. Kasi pagka nag-jump bail ka, ipoforfeit ng korte yung bail mo. Di mo na makukuha yan. Regardless of the result. Okay? So the inquest prosecutor shall immediately resolve the case. Discussing the following matters. Number 1, provisional determination regarding the validity of the warrantless arrest. Well, just the same. Kung nakita niya, invalid yung warrantless of arrest. Release na yan. Okay? The existence of prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction. Kung wala naman, baka sabihin ng prosecutor, dismiss ito. The prosecutor shall prepare the information when applicable. Okay? Well, just the same, pwede rin po yung inquest proceedings. The inquest prosecutor, on his or her own initiative, siya na mismo, or upon the request of the referring law enforcement agency or concerned private citizen, may opt for the conduct of inquest, provided that both the prosecution office and the parties have access to ICT. Ito ang problema natin sa malalayong probinsya. Diba? Baka yung prosecution office lang ang may internet. Di tayo pwede mag-conduct ng inquest. Okay? So, based on Section 13 that we have already discussed, yan yung procedure for inquest. Susundin din natin yung procedure ng preliminary investigation. Okay? And the proceedings are conducted through video conferencing via any of the platform. O yan, binanggit na. Aside from Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, meron pang iba. Meron dyan yung WebEx. Hindi pa naisama dyan. Kaya alam, parang hindi masyadong sikat yung WebEx, ano? Okay. Now, the referring law enforcement agent or agency or the arresting private citizen and the counsel of the respondent shall be provided with the details of the video conferencing. Siyempre, katulad dun sa preliminary investigation, meron kang date, time, at saka yung link, username, password, kung kailangan. At i-record ito ng prosecution office. Yung mga participants bawal mag-record. Hindi naman talaga kayo bibigyan ng access para i-record. Diba? Pero, pwede kayong mag-record. Alam niyo ba yan? That you can record that in your gadget without the host knowing it. Hindi ko lang alam ang procedure. Pero merong procedure yan. Okay? Ensure the attendance of the parties and verify their identities. It is during the video conferencing. Record all relevant events and narrations in the minutes. And administer the oath or affirmation and clarify factual issues if there are issues that needed clarification. Okay? Now, if the respondent avails of his or her right to preliminary investigation, the inquest prosecutor shall direct the law enforcement agency, the arresting private citizen, or counsel for the respondent to facilitate the execution of waiver. Kasi yung waiver niya must be under oath, di ba? Na pumapayag siya na mag-conduct ng preliminary investigation upon his request and therefore he is waiving his right under Article 125. Na kapag ka nahuli ng walang warrant, ay dapat kasuhan within the time frame provided by Article 125 of the Revised Penal Code. Now, the waiver signed by the respondent, kasama yung pirma ng kanyang counsel, shall be transmitted to the inquest prosecutor via email. Now, the hard copy of the original and 2 duplicate. So, ganun din yung procedure. May hard copy ka, tapos may 2 duplicate, ilan yung mga involved, ay bibigyan mo ng isa, bawat kopya bawat isa, no? Shall be submitted to the prosecution office within the same reglementary period. Okay? Ay syempre, walang forever. So matatapos yung preliminary investigation at a resolution is the ruling or disposition of the prosecutor on the preliminary investigation and inquest proceeding. Anong mangyayari doon sa resolution? It will determine whether an information should be filed in court or the case will be dismissed. Now, kung ang resolution ay mag-file ng information, what is an information? It is an accusation in writing charging a person with a crime or offense, subscribed, certified by the prosecutor, and filed with the proper court. That's what you call information. Kaya kung dalawa ang informations na na-file, you put an S. Hindi pwede sinasabi ng mga grammar teacher na collective noun daw yung information, so walang S. Dalawa nga yung information because information has a definition different from the normal information. By the way, why is it called information? Because you are informing the accused of the nature and cause of accusation against him. That is his constitutional right under Section 14 of Article 3 of the Constitution. So the information shall be in the name of the people of the Philippines. Sabi ng akusado, uy, isang latang gatas lang ang involved dito. Bakit kaaway ko ang people of the Philippines? Ay, ganun talaga. Once you commit a crime, your enemy is the entire people of the Philippines, kaya pwedeng arestuhin ni numan. Okay? The certification of the prosecutor in the information shall be under oath. At kasama ang mga sumusunod, that the prosecutor has personally examined the complainant. Kasama yung kanyang mga witness or witnesses. That there is prima facie. So paulit-ulit itong quantum of evidence na ito. Hindi nyo dapat kalimutan ito. Hindi na probable cause. Prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty of conviction of the accused when the case is tried in court based on the available evidence and the presence of testimonial, real object evidence, and documentary evidence at hand that the accused was informed of the complaint and the evidence submitted against him or her that the accused was given the opportunity to submit controverting evidence. Diba? Kaya nga nag-preliminary investigation siya. That the filing of the information is with the authority, prior authority of the Prosecutor General. You have in your screen a picture of the Prosecutor General of the Philippines, City Prosecutor, or Provincial Prosecutor. Now, if the information emanates from an inquest proceeding, this is different, ano? May karagdagang requirement. The prosecutor, in addition to the above requirements that we have enumerated, shall certify that the accused has not opted to avail of his or her right to preliminary investigation. Kaya nag-inquest kasi walang preliminary investigation and has not executed a waiver. Kasi kung mag-PPI ka pa, hindi kayo minumura, preliminary investigation ito, abay mag-execute siya ng waiver. Kasi matatagalan yung preliminary investigation. Now, the resolution and information shall be approved by the Prosecutor General, the city or provincial prosecutor, or his or her deputy, duly authorized deputies. No? The parties shall be furnished with a copy of the resolution at their address on record. Yan, dapat valid yung address nyo. The information filed in court shall be supported by the affidavits, the counter affidavits of the parties and their witnesses, together with the supporting evidence and the resolution of the case. Okay? Kasi yun ang mga titingnan ni judge to determine probable cause for the issuance of warrant of arrest. Now, if the prosecutor determines that based on the evidence that there is no prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty that the respondent will be convicted once tried in court, walang ibang gagawin kundi i-dismiss ito. But the dismissal must be with the authority or approval of the head of the prosecution office. Okay? Now, the prosecutor shall cite all the legal grounds and the basis for the dismissal. Siyempre, it must be based on law. That the elements of the crime as charged were established provided that the dismissal shall be without prejudice. Kung hindi na-establish yung mga elements of the crime, edi i-dismiss natin. Without prejudice, however, to the refiling of the case. Kung may additional evidence na sila. Diba? Now, when the investigating prosecutor recommends the dismissal of the complaint, but the recommendation is disapproved for whatever reason, yung bossing niya, dinisapprove. Kasi sa tingin niya, merong prima facie evidence. Kasi kahit mga abogado, pare-pareho inaral natin, pero iba-iba ang interpretasyon natin at appreciation ng mga facts and the law applicable. So sa tingin ng head ng prosecution office, may prima facie evidence pero hindi siguro nakita ng investigating prosecutor, the latter, siya na mismo, pwede siya mag-file. O mag-direct siya ng another prosecutor to conduct another preliminary investigation. So hindi ba duplication na lang ito? Now, if the prosecutor determines that there is prima facie evidence with reasonable certainty that he or she shall issue a resolution recommending the filing of the information. O kaya, siya na mag-file ng information. Okay? Now, all preliminary investigation complaints shall be resolved by the investigating prosecutor within 60 days. Kaya nga ni-reduce natin sa 10 days lang. Yung mga proceedings, kasi 60 days lang yan. Pero pwede namang ma-extend for another 30 days in the following cases. Number 1, capital offense. Okay? Kasi reclusion perpetua yan. Kasi wala na tayong death penalty, di ba? But just the same. Panghabang buhay na pagkakulong, hindi naman. Maximum 40 years lang naman siguro yan. Pero mas malupit pa nga dyan yung marriage, hindi ba? Alam nyo naman yun. May mga complex issues. O kaya may counter charges yung mga respondents. Or kinonsolidate ito dahil related yung mga complaints. O kaya ni-reassign. Okay? So may additional 30 days siya to resolve. The recommendatory resolution and information shall be transmitted to the head of office for approval within 5 calendar days from the time na prepare ni prosecutor yung kanyang resolution. Okay? The recommendatory resolution and information shall be acted upon by the provincial prosecutor general, city or provincial prosecutor, o yung kanyang mga authorized deputies within 10 days from receipt. So mandatory itong mga period na ito, no? Unless allowed yung extension. The resolution shall be promulgated within 5 days from the approval. Okay? Of course, yung head of office ang mag-a-approve. Now, inquest referral shall be resolved within the day and transmitted to the head of office for approval on the next working day. Bakit? Nakakulong dito yung akusado eh. Kaya mas mabilis pag-inquest. Hindi ba? Now, the aggrieved party may file a motion for reconsideration. Nakatanggap ka ng resolution ng city prosecutor, dapat mag-file ka ng motion for reconsideration within 15 days. The motion for reconsideration must be assigned to an investigating prosecutor or another within 3 days from filing. At mabilis ang resolution within 30 days. Dapat ma-resolve na yan. Now, the resolution of the prosecutor general, city or provincial prosecutor, or regional prosecutor for that matter, on PI or motion for reconsideration, may be the subject of review. Saan na yan? Magpapile ka ng petition for review doon sa provided that the petition for review shall be accompanied with a motion to suspend proceedings. Kasi pag na-file na yung nagkaroon ng resolution, immediately magpa-file siya ng information. Di ba? Kung nasa korte na yan, ay mag-file ka ng motion to suspend proceedings because you filed a petition for review. So, trabaho na ng mga abogado ito, kaya matrabaho yan, kaya magastos talaga. Di ba? Hindi naman kasi, alam nyo, trabaho yan eh. So, dapat babayaran. A worker is worthy of his reward. Di ba? Even in the Bible. However, resolutions of the Prosecutor General or the Regional Prosecutor on appeal of the cases cognizable by the first level court shall be final and no longer be appealed to the Secretary of Justice. Okay? Now, the resolution of the Secretary of Justice on appeal in criminal cases cognizable by the second level courts. Kasi yan na yung 6 years and 1 day. Hindi na daw ito appealable. Provided that in cases covered by Section 186, okay, ay pwedeng i-apila sa Office of the President. Ngayon, kahit naman final na yan at non-appealable, anong solusyon? Ay baka merong grave abuse of discretion. So you can always file a petition for certiorari. Saan? Huwag ididiretso sa Supreme Court. You can file it with the Court of Appeals. Okay? Now, the aggrieved party may file a verified motion for reconsideration within 15 days from receipt. Ngayon, pag hindi na pagbigyan yung motion for reconsideration and you probably, you can determine that there's grave abuse of discretion, invoke that right to file a petition for certiorari under Rule 65. Okay? So, yun ang ating last resort. Okay? So, yan po ang effectivity. Nag-take effect na nga ito. And then, may repealing clause. At syempre, yung construction, at ito na, ang papalit doon sa rules on preliminary investigation under Rule 112 of the Rules on Criminal Procedure. And in fact, yung Rules on Criminal Procedure, I think, is undergoing revision and amendment later on.